go to Google, you type in data wrapper, then you click on the first option that pops up. So for data wrapper, you first click on since if this is your first time you create. So first you could click on the sign in to register. So since this is the first time, I'll click on create a new account, and then I'll just use my Google by default to register. So then we have this login. Okay, so once you click on the login, you go to your dashboard, and then once you've logged in, the good thing about using Google is that it authenticates your account for you immediately, so you don't need to go through the whole process of authenticating it again. But then if not, you could just go with your personal account. Okay, now what we want to do is to create a map. So we come to create new, then click on map, then we go to Coral Replace map because we are trying to create something of the sort. Then what we do here is to search for Ghana, and then we have the Ghana districts 2021. So, oh sorry, this regions, we are looking for Ghana regions. Okay, so here we are, Ghana regions 2020. So this by default gives you the various districts in Ghana. Then what you do next is to proceed. And then we check the name. So you realize that at the end of all the various names, they've added regions to it. That means our associating file we are bringing in must have that as well in it. So let me open let me go back to opening the file we are to use. So this is the data we have. And realize that for all our various districts name here, there's no region attached. That means we might have a problem joining the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a column and make this one reg, and then I'm going to make it this equals this, and Calibra quotation mark space region and quotes, and then so now we have our regions in addition to everything. So what we're going to do here is to copy this data, and then coming back to our browser, we paste it in the data column here, and then we save it. Okay, so realize that the connection has been done, and then all data sets are showing here. That means the region indicators worked well. Then we click on proceed. So this does a check to make sure all data sets are. Once you don't get any red marking, it means everything is set well, and then we can proceed. Okay, now that we have so now we'll have to do declaration. The first one has to do with the NP, where from our test map here is supposed to be a red indicator, or that's the head count. So that's reddish. So we come here, change our column to head count percent. Then we take the yellowish to, so it's a kind of a plain yellow to red. So then we quickly change Sometimes, in case your internet is slow, you might have problems with declaration. So let's just select this default, then we come to the palette, and then we change. So let me choose something of the source, then we change it to red, with darker red. No, that's too dark. Let me go with this red. So what we are trying here is to achieve something of the salt. So and they're supposed to be much lighter yellow. Much darker red. So for the greater Accra to stand out clearly, let's use this. Let's again use this red. Okay. Now we could do a steps where we could select natural bricks, and then there's a linear distances quartiles. We could set a minimum value looking at our chart here. I think the minimum in the head count to be 19.4, and then the highest being 70.2. So then we can set our minimum point at 15 and highest point at 18. Um, or let's make that 10 to 80, and then let's take this to equidistances, so that we have something of this sort. And then we could have it was have is the left, should be vertically to the right of the page. So just to get something just to match. Okay, so it's at the bottom. So let's go back and then put it the bottom right. Then, 20, 40, 16, 8. Okay, this gives it. So let's go with the equidistances. And then I think what we have here is a reversed order. So reversed order with the highest being. So it's the lesser is the left, the right top. Size should be 17. And the padding should be 7. Then you click on proceed and rotation. We don't want to put anything on the map. So that will be done during the by column. So you could label either by region. So that's one downside about the data wrapper. Oh, double labeling unless maybe you have done it already in your data set. So you could have before we bring in the data, you do that customization in the double labeling. You have to prep the data bit. So what we have here was the original data we're given, and then earlier on we created a formula to add regions to the original name so that we can join it into the GeoJSON file that already exists in the data wrapper. But then the next thing we want to do is to do a double labeling where we have the region names and then the numbers. So it means we must create a formula to do that. So what I'm going to do here is to just bring this down and then repeat the process. So let's say for the first part we have to do the MPI label. We have it as the region name, and you bring up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you select the end. Sorry, then you bring your end again, select the MPI value. So then you have it this way. Already I've rounded off this number to 2 decimal place, and then done the same thing for the intensity. So for the head count, let me also do the same thing so that it's also pixel. Is equal to round to bracket head count, comma 1, and then we run that through it just to be sure that so we still have this which is still giving us this one place. So we copy this and then we paste it in here, and then hopefully we shouldn't have any problem. So now that we've set our formula, we can lock down the B column, since that's where we'll be using across all of them. And then we just stretch this down. So check, we realize that some of them don't have the double decimal place in it. It's some of the errors that come. So what we're going to do is to add the value command here, just to make sure it picks it as a text. But since if it's not working, the whole idea is to get it as a float, which we don't have here. Um, and the decimal formula doesn't work here, so I guess we would have to work on that manually. So the next thing to do is to stretch this across for the other values and then stretch it down. So what we have here is the MPI label, then we could have the head label, then we could have the intensity label. Okay, now what we're going to do here is going to copy this entire thing and then paste it as a value so that we can now go in and edit in the extra zero. So with these values, we want to make sure that everything is up to a 2 decimal place. This everything is supposed to be in a 1 decimal. So we have our 24 here being, and here also is to 1 decimal place. So now we are sure that everything is intact. So now we just copy this, then we go back into our data wrapper, and then we could start the entire process again. So we could just go to create map, then you come to our closed map, then with the closed map we search for Ghana, and then we go to the 2020 region, since it's a regional map you are working on. In case we need to bring in the Ghana, then we'd have to load a new GeoJSON file from outside, but then for now we are just going with the exact regional boundaries. So then you click on your proceed, Then you bring in the data you just copied from the formatting we've done right here. So then we paste it here. You click on your next, and then since we've already done the matching columns, you realize that everything falls in place. Then once we don't have our red marking here, we proceed. Well, we still proceed. Then we proceed. Now, once we get here, we select the column. So the first one we want to plot is the head count. Uh, we want to use the default step, which is a linear equidistance value. And we want to change that, making the minimum 10 and then maximum 80. And then we want to change the color to a reddish. So we select the green column, the green color palette, or the yellow to green color gradient, which gives us two color markings. Then we change the last marking to a red. Then change this yellow to a darker yellow for the sake of the Greater Accra region here. So then we could change the number of intervals to 6. And then we could change this to whole numbers. And so looking at the sample we're given, we realize that they all had to one decimal place. So we could bring in the one decimal part. And then heading on the label, there's no heading. And then we change the orientation. So you click on advanced here to change the orientation of the map. So we have it at the right top, vertical. Size should be, let's go with 200. And then we reverse the order. So this would automatically look at the highest and lowest value. And so it starts from the 10 to the 80. And then divided it equally across 6 divisions. Then what 6 divisions, and then this for the interactive part. Then we could make the height of the map big, and that's about 200 or 2000 pixels. And then we are sure that everything is okay now. Then we proceed to the annotation. So on the annotations, we can add the title of the map, which what we have here is incidence incidence of multidimensional poverty into bracket H. So we could have incidence of multi-dimensional poverty into bracket H. Okay, in Ghana. Then we check the map labels, and then we make it based on head label. then you wait for that to take effect. So then, yeah, so bring this down. Ghana, then 2022. Let's see if this BR breakdown works here. Okay, it works. Then we'll bring this access center. Okay, so the BR tag works, but then the justify tag doesn't work. So let me just remove this so that we have it as one in Ghana, or we could just have it removed and then they can type it in later. So now what we have here is we have both the district names and then the numbers showing across all the regions in Ghana. These ones have highlighted because they are the highest values we have in the Ross indicator marking. So that's basically how it's done. And then you can just click on proceed, then proceed again to the download. Then under PNG, you scale it up to 4. Then we just need our charts and it should be transparent. Then you download. Okay, now once you downloaded and you open it, you get a map this way, which is ready to be placed in the document. So that's basically about creating maps with the data wrapper and then having your double labeling done